welcome to SBI Mutual Fund presents Bharat Nivesh, partnered by Times Network. I'm Kavita Thapliyal, and you are watching this very special conversation today where we'll be talking about investment strategies for young professionals. सुनने में बहुत आम लग रहा होगा और शायद करने में भी बहुत आसान हो, लेकिन अगर आप ऐसे कोई शख्स हैं who've just stepped into the workforce, you've got your first paycheck, या someone जो कि अभी just college pass out हैं और सोच रहे हैं कि अब नौकरी करनी है, उससे पहले कुछ कमाई के बारे में सोच लिया जाए. So this show is for you. I have a lovely audience with me, definitely the studio today, who will be putting up their questions to our esteemed panel. I have with me Nidhi Chawla, Fund Manager, SBI Mutual Fund, and Kavita Menon, who are Registered Investment Advisor. Let me begin with you, Kavita. I want to know, what questions do you get from young professionals? Okay, now I'm talking about, I just want a distinction between young professionals 3 years back, maybe pre-COVID, and young professionals post-COVID. Because post-COVID की जो मैं बात कह रही हूँ, वहाँ मेरा focus है awareness पे, वहाँ मेरा focus है financial literacy पर. So एक तो क्या difference और क्या नयापन?
Kavita, thank you for having me on the show. तो कोविड के बाद तो बहुत फ़र्क पड़ गया क्वेश्चंस में ना,
exactly.
हाँ. क्योंकि इससे पहले ये था कि भाई करना क्या है, कैसे करना है, should we do it, should we not do it. Post COVID, everyone has become a fund manager. हर कोई FNO कर रहा है, कोई stocks कर रहा है. बहुत सारे प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं जिस पे आप ऑन अ क्लिक ऑफ अ बटन आप अकाउंट खोल लीजिए, आप ट्रेडिंग शुरू कीजिए. आपको गाइड करने के लिए इतने सारे इंस्टाग्रामर्स एंड यूट्यूबर्स खड़े हैं.
चैट जीपीटी भी है
अभी. सो व्हाट आर द क्वेश्चंस दे कम टू आस्क मी? लॉसेस कैसे कवर करें?
Okay.
I have taken a loan. And now I have to repay it because I took this loan to invest in FNO. This is happening, and this is happening like on a scale. I get calls from small villages and towns in India. They look for registered investment advisors to guide them through this whole mess. So the questions have changed.
Yeah, the questions.
And for some people who have learned the lesson, it is about understanding कि भाई financial planning तो करना पड़ेगा. थोड़ा एक directional move चाहिए from an expert, or they think that they have understood that FNO is not the game.
Okay.
See, FNO is a last level. There is a base that you have to create when you're creating a financial future. आपने step 1, step 2 सब छोड़ के सीधे step 10 पे चले गए, खुद गए आप वहाँ से आप now you're not able to create anything. You are in a loss. What are the step 1 and 2? आप पहले अपना एक इमरजेंसी फंड बनाएंगे, आप अपना मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस कराएंगे, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कराएंगे, फिर आप म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, अपना पोर्टफोलियो बनाएंगे, फिर आप सीखेंगे मार्केट के बारे में, फिर आप ऊपर जाएंगे. बट दैट इज बिकम इन रिवर्स नाउ.
अवेयरनेस को लेकर कमी है, बट प्रॉफिट्स को लेकर बिल्कुल भी कमी नहीं है. वो समझ में आता है लोगों को, एंड विच इज़ वाई शायद वो FNO के लिए पहले जा रहे हैं विदाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग हाउ इट वर्क्स.
सो आई थिंक the question basically lies कि कहाँ पे आपने कब start किया है. When you look at us, when we started as a generation, let's say 10 years back, we used to think about investing is all about power of compounding, how the money should be invested, कैसे तुम्हारा 10x, and we've learned that art where you say कि 10 years में 10x, 10 years में 100x कैसे करना है. एक स्टॉक में अगर आज आप पैसा डालोगे and वो compounding of the returns कैसे होता है, which is like every 5 years if you really have to double your money, which is nothing but 18% or 16% compounding that is happening. I think वो period post COVID when we look at वो market ही different है. Because the demat accounts went from, let's say, 20 million to 40 million, right? The new demat accounts and these new people are completely fresh into the markets.
Yeah.
And when we think about the entire financial literacy, that has largely happened from their own learning whatever is happening in the markets.
Right.
And during this same period, the FNO market actually took up quite significantly. Even the MFs took up quite significantly. So both on the stock market side, MF side, the kind of AUM that we have generated, or FNO becomes easier because it's margin. It's lesser money. You feel that we're not investing full, and we're yet getting the returns, and the potential of returns are much larger. But the losses itself also becomes much larger then, because you're taking a leverage bet, which people don't realize. जब आप स्टॉक में इन्वेस्ट करते हो और म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट करते हो, आप लेवरेज नहीं ले रहे हो. FNO में आप लिटरली एक लेवरेज पोजीशन भी ले लेते हो. वो चीज़ आई थिंक लोगों को समझने के लिए ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है. एंड आई थिंक the basics have to be right. Yeah. क्यों invest करना है, कब invest करना है और कैसे invest करना है has to be really understood.
The aspect of concept investing or maybe investing with a purpose or with a financial goal is still lacking.
Right.
So since we're talking about young professionals, we have a bunch of them over here also. अपने सवाल आप एक-एक करके पूछिएगा, but इनके behalf पे सवालों की शुरुआत मैं करना चाहती हूँ. Fresh into workforce, तनख्वाह पहली मिल रही है मुझे, बहुत सारे एस्पिरेशंस हैं और बहुत सारे कमाई के तरीके भी हैं. नाउ हाउ डू आई बिगिन माई जर्नी? फाइनेंशियल गोल्स, आई नो व्हाट आर फाइनेंशियल गोल्स, लाइक मोटा मोटा आई नो आई वांट टू बाय अ हाउस, एक कार होनी चाहिए. आजकल यू नो वी हैव दोज लाइफ कॉलिंग गोल्स ऑल्सो दैट मे बी यू नो आफ्टर फ्यू years down the line I want to quit my job and do something on my own, maybe take a sabbatical. Early retirement is a new concept which people are exploring. So all that is just in my head, which is very trendy, which is very cool. How do I approach all of this? And how much of this is actually for me? How do I identify that?
So you know, if you keep things simple, just keep it as simple as possible. आपको पहली salary मिली है, you will have so many things you would have planned to do with the money. मैं तो कहती हूँ पहले salary से कर भी लो.
Okay.
But if you had to create a framework, do it from the start. आप जब छोटा छोटा चालू करते हो ना, it's not that it's going to make you a millionaire, it's not going to make you very rich.
Yeah.
But what it will do is, it will create a habit. The habit of putting aside money from what you're getting. ये habit creation is something I feel the most important. It's okay if the amounts are not relevant. You know, what investment you do is not relevant. What is relevant is creating a habit of putting aside money and investing it. Start keeping aside 30% आप अपने assets, आपकी जो salary है उसमें से रखो. 30% बहुत ज़्यादा अगर लग रहा है तो 20 करो. That percentage is again irrelevant, but start the habit.
Start the habit. Okay. How do you ensure that you have multiple income baskets? Because एक होता है passive income का भी concept होता है जो youngsters जानना चाहते हैं कि आपकी एक नौकरी तो चल ही रही है, साथ ही साथ कुछ पैसा है जो कमा कर भी दे रहा है, which again can be a part of your investment strategy.
Correct.
But how?
When I think about investing, right, मुझे actually ये लगता है, and I started with SBI Mutual Fund, and I was just more like, you know, we started in the equity markets, we saw how, you know, and I come back to the point of compounding. I think the power of compounding just works wonders with your the investment basket that you spoke about. The salary that you earn with the career, it won't compound on its own. It is going for your expenses, and it is not beating inflation. It will beat inflation to a certain extent that you will get your, you know, you will get a salary hike or you'll get a bonus. But when you look at, when you invest into the markets, and it can be through passive channels, it can be through active investments, it can be through an SIP, or it can be through a mutual fund. But it just gives you, in terms of the, you know, the compounding that happens in terms of that 1 rupee. Let's say equity markets have been there almost 43 years, right? You would have invested 1 rupee, now you would have got a 600x return. Because if you invest in equity markets, which is a 16% CAGR. Now in the same period, if you had invested into an FD, FD would have gone to, let's say, 8.5%. It's a good return when you start off, when you build a basket of various investment avenues that you have, but you make 40x in those 40 years. Now look at a gap that you create. Now again, when you keep, and there's no, I mean, there's no right time to invest here. Time is your real asset, because time is the only essence which is actually adding to your wealth and your investment. What you invest today, if my father, let's say, would have invested when I was 10, I would have been in a different ball game altogether, right? So today when I think about my daughter, or if I think about investing, even if you don't have money, you have a 500 rupees SIP, that is also creating wealth for you. Every down period, because you don't have to time the market, you don't really have to think this is my right time, you know, because there will always be push and pulls of your career, your personal life. But these investments will always be there to work for you.
Right.
You don't have to work for them. You don't have to work for your life. You have to work towards your retirement. You will have to work towards your own life goals. And that will, nothing will stop. Work has to continue, your life will continue, your life changes will continue over aging, but this portfolio will have to keep working for you.
All right, so let's open the floor for viewer questions or audience questions.
Suppose whatever the residual amount I have after contributing to my home loan, should I start an SIP with that, or should I increase my contribution towards my home loan?
How sure are you of your future cash flows for the next 20 years? ठीक है? Yeah, next 15 years.
Answer?
Okay, if you are absolutely sure.
You're sure?
Yes, I am sure.
Okay.
Then please increase your SIPs, do not repay the loan. It's very clear. But if you're not sure, and there are uncertainties in your life, you're a professional, and believe me, uncertainties can come even for a salaried person. आज everything बहुत rosy लग रहा है, बहुत सुंदर लग रहा है. 5 साल के बाद कुछ और होते, life change होती है यार, बहुत changes आ जाते हैं. तो अगर आप बहुत confident हैं अपने earning ability पे, तो please repay ना करें. आप अपने SIPs को बढ़ाएं. And indeed, in 20 years, it will make a difference. There is no doubt about it.
So how do you ensure, now for example, if someone is not sure about having a regular cash flow, so what's the kind of strategy one needs to opt for then?
So the first thing is you will have to have if you're taking a loan against a property, you also need to ensure that extra cash flows go into a larger emergency fund. For me, that's absolutely sacrosanct. You have to have a larger emergency fund, because if your cash flows don't come in, let's say a COVID-like period comes. Because I handle a lot of professionals, I can tell you this with a lot of surety that COVID has taught them what nothing else can teach them. Because for years,
suddenly there is no income.
There was no income for professionals, especially in the entertainment business, you know, in the financial space. There was no income for 2 years, and the suffering is enormous for the family. Right? So, how do you then pay EMIs?
Exactly, yeah. How do you pay EMIs then?
Yeah. That's where you get an emergency fund helping you out. So having that is sacrosanct for professionals. If you're taking a loan, ensure you're having something on the side to pay at least 1 year's EMIs.
At least 1 year's EMI. Okay.
Yeah.
How should they plan their expenses then? How do you bucket your expenses also? I mean, ये तो सबसे बड़ा liability हो गया to repay loans. But otherwise, जो आपके day-to-day expenses होते हैं, जो mandatory expenses होते हैं, because we are talking about lifestyle management.
See, I think the corpus matters, right? You will have to basically divide your income that you have into pockets that are there. One part of the investment, which is like a very small portfolio also of SIP, which will have to work towards your investment portfolio. Then you have these, even the EMI, if you think about it, it's a tax efficient thing. So why would you repay a loan? Like she rightly said, why would you repay a loan when you actually have a regular income?
When you have a regular
now,
income, yeah.
Every income professional also has some base which he has to develop. Because, you know, you're talking about professionals whose income at some point of time may stop. So they still have to build that corpus over the years. So it becomes even more important for them that it has to be much more planned investment, which is always there along with the EMI. It may not be like to like, you know, people say ki loan against property and then you try to invest, which is a risky proposition. That you're basically trying to match the returns that you're trying to make on the interest cost that you're trying to pay. You can't do complete matching, but there is certain extent of a base of investment portfolio which you'll have to make, especially for professionals who don't have a regular income. Because, you know, your money is your money. If you're basically saying that it can stop anytime, or you're saying that, you know, it may not continue forever.
Right.
Like same thing as for a salaried professional, which is where you have to plan for this retirement, which is where you're trying to plan for that corpus, and that corpus has to start working for you from day one. You can't keep, and you know, you can't buy a house. It's like, you know, chaddar jitni hai utna hi tum loge na. So which is similar to this. I still strongly believe investing cannot go out of your purview. Even if you have 500, you have 100, that small amount will make huge wonders during your entire life. Because, you know, people really underestimate how the money compounds and how actually markets helps in terms of debt, equity, whatever hybrid portfolios or the arbitrage portfolios. You have portfolio solutions for every investor. It just you have to understand those products better, and you actually go through those investing journey for every professional separately. Which is where the planners come, which is where, you know, the mutual fund advisors come, where they try to actually help you in terms of planning your finances. But one over the other cannot happen. Otherwise, you see that asset is not creating wealth for you, no? It's you will not sell that asset to make money for you. So you have to make a parallel investment portfolio which will work for you over the years.
All right, next question.
My name is Ketu Shah. I'm a CA. So I wanted to ask on the diversification. So everybody talks that don't put all eggs in one basket. You should diversify your portfolio, or maybe different asset classes like crypto. There are gold. There is equity market and everything.
Right.
As a young professional, how do you suggest how should we diversify our savings?
I think it's honestly it's very personal, and it depends upon how the individual is in terms of the risk appetite and at what part of the investing career they are, or basically even the career level that you are at. When we started investing in, we were very young. Like let's say we were like 20, 25, and at that time you were looking at it, then it was like, you know, you could put everything in the equity markets. But as a layman, and when an investor is starting, why would we suggest that, you know, you should start with the hybrids so that you understand the risk appetite of the markets and you understand your own risk appetite? Because markets do not go one way, right? So when you start, and when you know when you're just starting early, it's just your early career. You have, you know, you have expenses, you have your own income levels gradually rising. I think volatility may not be the something which you'll be able to take, which is where the hybrids are more investable, more investable asset class. But if you think about the long term, volatility works in your favor. So for a long-term investor, we would always say, depending upon your time horizon, you should keep topping up your SIPs. You should keep increasing your investments into the markets, or even either for that matter for debt or equity. But it is always a horizon. It is not what you're talking about, you know, whether it is debt or equity. If you have a long-term horizon, you can easily invest into equities. If you have a shorter-term horizon, because you're still trying to explore what you want to do in your life, you are still settling in your new job, you're trying to understand what I want to actually, you know, like she said, entrepreneurship, then you should definitely diversify into different asset classes. Some portion should actually go into, let's say, your debt fund, some portion should be into hybrids, and some portion into equities, not fully into equities. So it all depends upon which part of the cycle you are.
I'll just add to that. If you're confused, and you don't have a very clear picture on all these assets, it's impossible. There is a category in mutual funds called multi-asset funds, asset allocator funds. Evaluate that. You get gold, you get debt, you get international equities, you get Indian equities, you get a really large wide basket, and you have a fund manager who takes that asset allocation call on your behalf. आप अपने profession पे focus कर सकते हैं. So that's another option for young professionals. I certainly recommend multi-asset funds.
Okay. You.
So my first question is, what is the strategy for investing in different segments and in what proportion? Because I am in confusion of investing in mutual funds and equity, and also in ETF and index funds.
ETF and index funds?
Yes.
Okay. May I ask you what you do?
Currently, I am working as a professional.
Working as a professional, yeah. So, on the various categories, if you look at it, right, even for, let's say, an equity mutual fund or ETFs or passives, like, I would personally say start with mutual funds. Or start with, if you don't want to, if you actually are looking for a lower fees, you can actually look at, let's say, a passive ETFs and all. But starting with stock investments, trust me, it takes a lot of time to learn. And it's something which cannot be taught. It is actually learned through the investment journey. Like when we actually start investing and we actually start becoming an analyst. I became an analyst, let's say, in 2008, 2009. We were told if you've not seen 2 cycles, you don't know what happened in a sector. So, you know, I'm still learning. Every day is new for me. Every day something happens. And, you know, every day some other new development happens. So for you to start investing journey with stocks, I mean, I would personally recommend that, you know, you go with a well-established mutual fund investments, because, you know, you will have to, then that will be a learning process for you. You will understand how the markets work, how the market cycles works. There are different product categories within that which you can actually select. And so you don't have to get through that confusion. What do you want to buy?
So passive investing or active investing then? Kavita?
My own preference is, if you're just starting your investment journey, start with managed funds, actively managed funds.
Actively managed funds?
Yes.
Okay, no ETF or index?
ETF requires a lot more finesse in investment knowledge also.
So it cannot be your first investment?
People think it's the most basic.
Yeah.
But my own feeling is you should start with a managed fund, have a manager manage it for you. Okay. ETFs and index funds can go in level 2 as you become a more mature investor and you know how markets function, you understand the dynamics. That's when you go to passives.
Because you're yet taking a call on the index, right?
You're still, yes.
Yeah, you're yet taking a call that I want to put in that particular index fund. I want to put in, let's say, in Nifty.
You are taking
You're taking a call, let's say, in a sector index fund or an ETF. There also you're taking a call on a sector. Let's say for him, if he starts into a diversified equity fund today, or there he's not taking a call. The fund manager is taking a call on those sectors which are expected to work over the next 5 years.
Right.
So your first level of diversification is already done. Because I am actually looking at different sectors. Let's say he's not comfortable with 100% equity. So you go to next level where you have hybrids. So I'm not fully invested into equities. You have 50% equity categories, you have 25%, you have 35% multi-asset where it comes, then you have 75%, then you have 100%. So you have different asset classes there. If you want to further diversify, again, gold and others, then there are multi-asset. So, diversification can happen through the managed funds.
Right.
But ETFs, and again, like I think she rightly said that, you're still taking a call on a particular sector.
Which I add one more thing. There is always this love for buying direct stocks. Somehow, I've seen this across the generation. You have fund managers who have, who are the brightest minds in the country. IIM, IIT, Aap Jo Bolo, and these guys have teams, 15, 20 analysts, feeding them with data, with information. Can you as an individual who's also having a full-time career really beat these guys? I mean, this is it's a game of probabilities, and people think I might just hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
But the probabilities are so skewed against them. If you looked at their own portfolio IRRs, it's nowhere close to what a mutual fund would have offered them. So my only request to youngsters is, please learn this lesson as quickly as possible, that you have institutions who are handling your money with far bigger resources than you would ever have. So just give it to them and do well in your careers instead.
To sum up this particular session, one question both of you need to answer. If a young professional has just 5,000 rupees to invest or to begin with, what will be your recommendation?
Kavita, how long does he have? Does he need the money in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? That will determine where he invests. If he says 3 years, I'll say go for an equity savings fund. If he says 5 years, I'll say go for a multi-asset or a hybrid fund. If he says 10 years, I'll invest 100% into equity if he's game for that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I think I would generally say that when you're starting and when you're a young career aspirant, you'll have to think about a 10-year horizon. You cannot think of an investment lesser than 5 years at all, because your money will not start working so fast. Any investment, and we keep harping this thing that, any investment horizon for a personal investment, forget about even in mutual fund, when I invest into my portfolio, we do not look into stocks where we cannot justify 3 to 5 year horizon. Because market cycles don't work so fast. So when you really want to play those cycles, and I gave you an example of long-term equity returns, long-term FD returns. If you really want to benefit from those long-term cycles, I would sincerely suggest to invest with a horizon of minimum 5 to 10 years. And when you're actually looking at a journey of 5 to 10 years, depending upon what age you're starting, I think you can invest into equities very safely. And India is a market, I don't think so it's going anywhere in terms of, next 10 to 15 years. So I think you'll be safe. I can safely say that, you can start your journey with mutual funds, depending upon your risk appetite, whatever you want to invest into. But I think you should start your journey early.
Exactly. I mean, as early as possible.
As early as possible.
Right. So on that note, it's sign off. Thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you so much, audience, also. And for our viewers, you can keep watching our space for more investment strategy and advice for your financial portfolio and financial planning. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.